Good evening and welcome to our news programme. It's just past 6 o'clock and it's Saturday the 9th of April. And in the news this week, today has seen the naming of the new Inshore lifeboat for Weymouth. Weymouth RNLI's new Atlantic class lifeboat has been officially named B917 Jack and Phil Clear today, and the ceremony took place just by Weymouth Pavilion. The Atlantic 85 Inshore lifeboat arrived in the town last April to replace the Relief Atlantic 75 that had been covering Weymouth. The RNLI said that married couple Phil and Jack Clear were extraordinary benefactors who funded two D-class lifeboats for Swanage and an Atlantic 75 lifeboat for Weymouth, plus an additional Relief D-class lifeboat. Phil and Jack concentrated their funding efforts towards the Weymouth and Swanage lifeboat stations and took much pride in visiting them. Jack sadly passed away in 2000, but Phil continues supporting the RNLI and, in honour of her late husband, named the Swanage Inshore lifeboat Jack Clear. So thank you to that family and the amazing support they have given to the RNLI, both in Swanage and Weymouth. And from today, a new named Inshore lifeboat for Weymouth. Staying with Weymouth, nominations are now open for Weymouth Mayor's Community Awards. Do you know an unsung local hero who you would like to nominate? You can nominate volunteers from your community who deserve a big shout out for the selfless work they do for others in Weymouth. To nominate a volunteer from your community to be recognised by the Mayor's Community Awards, you need to get in touch with your local councillor by the closing date, which is the 30th of April. And you provide details to your local councillor of who you would like to nominate. If you don't know who your local councillor is, pop along to the Weymouth Town Council website and look for the section on councillors, and you'll find out who your councillor is and how to contact them. The lucky recipients will be announced at a meeting of Weymouth Town Council's full council on Wednesday the 11th of May, and the outgoing mayor will then present the awards at the Mayor's Community Picnic on Sunday the 15th of May. So if there's somebody within your community that you'd like to nominate, get in touch with your local councillor, put their name forward and see if they are successful in getting a Mayor's Community Award. I'm sure many of you will have visited over the years the 10-pin bowling alley in Weymouth, which sadly closed quite a while ago now. Well, as part of the proposals for redevelopment of the former Weymouth Bowl site in St Nicholas Street, an archaeological dig is due to take place later this month. Dorset Council acquired the leasehold interest in the former Weymouth Bowl site back in January this year and has commissioned archaeological specialist Context One Heritage and Archaeology to carry out an archaeological investigation on the site ahead of the redevelopment. The same company was used last year to carry out a similar archaeological investigation at the old Council North Quay site. Context One has studied historical maps of the area and where the services now run, and has recommended two 10-metre long trenches to be dug in the areas most likely to reveal archaeological remains. Richard McConnell from Context One said, "We have carried out a desk-based assessment of the site and we know it is within the historic medieval core of Melcombe Regis, which has seen several episodes of recent development over many years. We are expecting to encounter foundation remains of buildings similar to those at North Quay, unless they've been completely removed as part of the MFA Bowl development when it was made. If we do find any remains, they are likely to be a mixture of remains from various dates, perhaps extending back to the medieval period. To ensure members of the public can see what is found as the dig progresses, Context One and Dorset Council will post photos of the work on social media throughout the duration of the dig. Work is due to start on site on Monday the 25th of April and is due to take 2 to 3 weeks. During this time, the car park operated by Euro Car Parks will be closed, and permit holders of this car park are being contacted directly about alternative arrangements." So some exciting things to look out for there. I wonder what they will find when they do those digs on the Weymouth Bowls site. I shall be watching with interest. I'm one of those fans of the old programme Time Team that did similar digs, and it's always interesting to see when they lift the earth and they go down just a few inches what they start to find. So I will be watching that with interest. I'll see if I can actually visit the site and get some video to share with you. Moving on, Dorset Wildlife Trust have launched a new barn owl webcam. The barn owl webcam is at the Lawton Meadows Nature Reserve near Weymouth, and it's now live on the Dorset Wildlife Trust website, giving wildlife lovers in Dorset and around the world the opportunity to tune in live at any time of day or night to follow the progress of a pair of resident barn owls who are nesting and raising their chicks on the site. This year, viewers are able to watch the owls in colour and with a much higher definition camera, thanks to the new upgraded webcam which was installed in the nesting box at the beginning of the season. Well, that's exciting. Staying with Dorset Wildlife Trust, a host of family-friendly wildlife events and activities are on offer by Dorset Wildlife Trust visitor centres over the Easter holidays. Easter events range from a family pond dipping day on Brownsea Island and a bird-watching walk at Lawton Meadows to marine-themed Easter egg case hunts, as well as the opportunity to explore the amazing underwater world of the Fleet Lagoon and seashore on a seashore safari. Locally, the Easter egg case hunts will take place on Monday the 18th of April at the Chesil Beach Centre. Children will be searching for shark and ray egg cases on the beach with a chocolatey reward for their discoveries. The visitor centres at Chesil Beach, Kimmeridge, Brownsea and Kinkham are all now open to the public, with lots of opportunities to explore these special places and discover the wildlife that live there. Now, for more information, pop along to the Dorset Wildlife Trust website, and it's important you need to book to attend these events. They're likely to be very, very popular, so all the details are on their website. Please do book, but please do go and see what's happening, particularly those people that live in Weymouth and Portland, obviously with the Chesil Beach Centre right on our doorstep. And the website is dorsetwildlifetrust.org.uk. Very easy, dorsetwildlifetrust.org.uk. No dashes, gaps or anything in that. Exciting times there over Easter with Dorset Wildlife Trust. Now turning to Dorset Police. Dorset Police are appealing for help with a public order incident in Weymouth. At around 3:25 a.m. on Sunday the 27th of March, an altercation occurred between a man and a woman in Great George Street, Weymouth. It is reported that the man was verbally abusive to the woman, threw her belongings from a car and made threats to kill her. The woman ran away to seek help. A mobile phone was damaged in the incident and a handbag and rucksack were stolen. The man and woman were known to each other, but Dorset Police are looking for people who may have been in the area and may have seen something. They do know that there were quite a number of people in Great George Street at the time of the incident who witnessed it, and they're appealing for any of those to get in contact and share any information that they may have. Now, to get in touch with Dorset Police, it's the usual contact numbers. It's 101 by telephone, or if you wish to contact them and give information anonymously, you can do this through the Crime Stoppers charity by calling free phone 0800 555 111. That's 0800 555 111. Now turning to Dorset and Wiltshire Fire and Rescue. This week they've told us that more people in Dorset and Wiltshire die in fires in the home caused by cigarette and smoking products than any other cause. Dorset and Wiltshire Fire and Rescue Service has seen 11 fire deaths caused by accidental fires in the home resulting from smokers' materials in the last 5 years, which was half of all fire fatalities across the service area. Now, the important thing with this is something that hopefully with good care and attention can be stopped, and stop 11 deaths over 5 years. So what they're suggesting is not smoking while tired, using the proper and secure ashtray and stubbing cigarettes out properly can greatly reduce the risk of an accidental fire starting. And as part of the National Fire Kills campaign, the service is now reminding smokers to put it out and put it right out whenever they light up. Now, there's some simple steps that you can take to help prevent fire in the home from smoking materials. So never smoke in bed, never smoke when under the influence of drugs or alcohol, put it out and put it right out, which is obviously the core message of this campaign. Fit a smoke alarm and test it at least monthly. Never leave lit cigarettes, cigars or pipes unattended. Use a proper heavy ashtray, and I guess looking with the health impact as well, make an attempt to quit smoking. So that's the message from Dorset and Wiltshire Fire and Rescue. Now, the coroner for Dorset is appealing for help and appealing for information on people who lived locally in Weymouth and Dorchester this week. They're looking for anybody who may know relatives of Huguette Tanner, that's Huguette, I think I probably said that right, who was 64 years old and died at her home in Stavardale Road, Weymouth, on Thursday the 31st of March 2022. As usual with these things, the death is not suspicious, there's no police investigation. The coroner is just trying to make contact with next of kin or family members. So that's Huguette Tanner, who was 64-year-old, died at a home in Stavardale Road. And the other one is Graham Ferguson, who was 83 years old and died at his home address in Main Gardens, Dorchester, on Monday the 4th of April. Again, neither of those deaths are suspicious, just looking to make contact with next of kin so official things can be done. Now, if you know anything about the next of kin of either of those people or family members who may know who the next of kin are, then do please contact the Dorset Coroner's Office on 01202 123 900. That's 01202 123 900. Now, Dorset Council and Litter Free Dorset will once again be encouraging residents and visitors to celebrate Dorset's roadside verges as havens for biodiversity and wildlife with the Love Your Verge campaign. Remember, they did this campaign last year. Love Your Verge is a countrywide collaboration between the Council's Coast and Green Space Service and Litter Free Dorset. It aims to raise awareness about the Council's work to increase and maintain biodiversity in verges as part of the response to the climate and ecological emergency. By increasing awareness about the importance of Dorset's thriving verges, the campaign also aims to deter people from littering the roadsides. Changes to verge management in Dorset include an increase in cut and collect mowing, a technique which helps to reduce the soil fertility over time, which creates a better environment for wildflowers. The council also has reduced verge cutting throughout the rural road network to once instead of twice per year in areas where it is safe to do it. This allows more flowers to complete their life cycles before being cut. Verges which already have high biodiversity value, known as conservation verges, are managed to ensure biodiversity can continue to thrive each year. Verges are increasingly known as an important area for wildlife, and the work of Dorset has caught the attention of the national media. The Wildlife Trust already recognise a number of verges in Dorset as sites of nature conservation interest, a designation which is given to sites that have a substantive nature conservation and geological value. And the council do aim over time to establish even more sites of nature conservation interest as part of its work to address the ecological emergency. Now, going back to Dorset Police this time, not about crime this time, but about a change in legislation. And Dorset Police is welcoming new legislation that makes it harder for people to buy dangerous weapons and become in knife crime. Changes to legislation brought about by the Offensive Weapons Act 2019 mean that from Wednesday the 6th of April, that's Wednesday just gone, it will be harder for young people to buy weapons, both at point of sale and for delivery. Retailers and couriers will now be legally obliged to do more to ensure knives, corrosives and other offensive weapons are not sold or delivered to anyone under the age of 18. The new restrictions will also make it an offence to possess a corrosive substance in a public place. The move comes after the first part of the Act came into force in July 2021, banning the possession of certain dangerous items in private, including zombie knives, shuriken or Death Stars, and knuckle dusters. Dorset Police and partner agencies will be working together to educate the public and business community regarding these changes in legislation. And a mural art trail, we've mentioned this before, proposed for Weymouth is a step closer to being launched after Weymouth Town Council submitted planning applications for several of the locations. Working in partnership with We Are Weymouth, the locations and designs for the interactive trail which need planning permission can now be viewed on the Dorset Council's planning website. They include the public toilets at Overcombe Corner, Green Hills Garden Cafe, Weymouth Library Wall and the Town Council's Beach Operations Building on the beach, and the gable end of 24 Trinity Road, which will need listed planning consent. The plans are subject to Dorset Council granting planning permission, and people can have their say up until Monday the 25th of April. Some of the sites which don't require planning permission include the Weymouth Outdoor Education Centre store at the Stone Pier, Weymouth Town Council store at Noath Gardens, and the alleyway at St Mary Street Church, where work will no doubt be going ahead. Now, results from the local election for councillors for West and West seat on Weymouth Town Council have seen the Lib Dem hold the seat, with Tim Young, the Lib Dem candidate, being elected. And Labour's Reuben Lake has been elected as the new town councillor for the Underhill ward on Portland, with a margin of just 5 votes. Goodness, that was a little bit close to call there, but well done to Reuben and to Tim, who will be representing their communities on those 2 town councils. Now, local support group Cupid, which is a mutual support group for ostomists, anyone with a stoma, a colostomy, a urostomy or a colostomy pouch. It meets at 10 a.m. on Saturday the 23rd of April at the Dorset Baptist Church in Dorchester. The group meets frequently and has guest speakers and also representatives of the medical suppliers attending their events to answer questions of attendees. It's a friendly, informal group to allow those with similar medical situation to meet, chat and support each other. Staying with medical things, the NHS are asking everyone to make sure they use the right services this Easter, as local services remain under extreme pressure. They're asking local people and visitors to use their GP services, 111 or their local pharmacies, unless it's a life-threatening emergency, when hospital accident emergency or the 999 services should be used. And of course, with holidaymakers coming into the area now as we start the holiday season, it does mean that our local services will have even more people to provide service to, so they do need to be used wisely. And finally, in our headlines tonight, a massive congratulations to the Noath Fort, who scooped the Gold Award for Small Visitor Attraction for the 2nd year running in the South West Tourism Awards. We're really lucky to have such a great team of mainly volunteers that maintain and run the Noath Fort for the benefit of local people, local schools for their history visits, and of course tourists visiting the area. Not only is it an interesting and excellent place to visit, but they also have an impressive series of events throughout the year. So a big well done to all involved in the Noath Fort. And if you haven't paid it a visit in recent years, it's well worth a visit. There's lots going on there, lots to see. And I really do mean it. The team there have done an incredible amount of hard work to make this a fantastic visitor attraction. So do pay it a visit and do give them your support. Now that's the end of our headlines this evening. Quite a lot there going on in the headlines tonight. Now our first feature this week is from our regular contributor Janet Hall, who has been talking to some local people about their memories as we come towards the Queen's Jubilee, which of course will be in June this year. So we'll go over and see who Janet has been speaking to this week.
Hello. Have you picked up a sheet like this in the church, in which you can write down your memories for each decade in the 70 years that the Queen has been on the throne? Margaret Cook did. Here is Margaret as she is now singing in the choir, and here she is as a small child. Margaret was born in 1955, so she doesn't remember the coronation. And in fact, she was very young in the 50s. But she does remember going to Sunday school, and she remembers loving the singing even then. In the 1960s, she remembers moving house and starting a new grammar school, Kesteven and Grantham Girls' School. It was the same grammar school where her mum and Margaret Thatcher used to be in the same class 30 years earlier. Neither of them seemed to like it very much. In the 1970s, Margaret saw the Queen in Salisbury Cathedral Close, where she had come to distribute Maundy money, the coins which the British monarch distributes to elderly people as symbolic alms on the day before Good Friday, Maundy Thursday. She was very impressed with her, thinking her very glamorous. In 1981, Margaret remembers avidly watching the royal wedding on TV. She found it so exciting and really seemed like a fairy tale to her young, romantic self. How little did everyone know of what would happen. In the 1990s, she remembers being traumatised by Diana's death. It overshadowed all her other problems and affected her teenage daughters profoundly. The funeral music was played at church on that Sunday. The Golden Jubilee in 2002 was a more jolly affair. The street next to the church where she lived held a Golden Jubilee street party, and everyone went, decked out in bunting, and it was a very joyful occasion. In 2012, Margaret went up to London to visit her daughter in June 2012, and they watched the royal procession and the flypast near Marble Arch to celebrate the Diamond Jubilee. It was so exciting. Well, Margaret, I wonder what you will be doing for the Platinum Jubilee. Maybe you'll come up to All Saints Church, where we're going to have a fun family day. You'll be able to find out more about that quite soon. And now, what about the rest of you? Have you filled out a form of memories yet? Or would you like me to come and interview you? Please get in touch. It would be lovely to have a record of how the last 70 years have affected local people. Bye for now.
Thank you, Janet, for that report. And of course, if you'd like to speak to Janet about your memories over the last decades, do drop us an email here, news@whiteregis.tv, and we'll put you in touch with Janet. And as Janet said, it'd be very nice to capture some of those memories, because obviously once people get older and they forget things or sadly die, those memories are lost. And that's a fantastic thing if they can be captured for future generations. Now, thank you for Janet for that. You'll remember we have covered before, many weeks ago, the massive problem that developed over the COVID pandemic of unlicensed dog breeders. As people were staying at home and wanted the company of dogs, meant there was a massive market for unlicensed dog breeders to take advantage of people. Now this week, Dorset Council and Margaret Green Animal Rescue have released some information and a video about why we should not use unlicensed dog breeders and the actual size of the problem. And actually it really surprised me what a big problem this is. So we'll hear from them now.
Really, if you're breeding dogs, you have to have a licence. During lockdown, there was a massive demand for puppies. And as a result, that was honeymoon for all the illegal and unlicensed breeders out there, and they just produced puppies ad lib.
I did some statistics in Dorset Council in lockdown, and on one social media website there was £1.35 million worth of sales for puppies.
The issues with unlicensed dogs are several and quite complex. They have no care in which dog they breed with which dog. It's all about the profit. You've got so many genetic, veterinary, medical issues that are passed on to puppies.
It just breaks our heart when you see brachy breeds come in. So yeah, French bulldogs, pugs, bulldogs, and they just can't breathe.
I mean, this dog, for instance, is an example of illegal and bad breeding. He is born deaf. He has compromised eyesight, because his parents would have had either or both of those things. Also, welfare-wise, every bit of white on this dog was yellow from lying in very unsanitary conditions.
And these are the things that we don't want to happen. We don't want to have unlicensed, ill puppies within the Dorset Council. So the local authority would licence the breeder to make sure that all the checks, all the health checks are carried out, the dogs are suitably microchipped, they're kept and bred properly. And on the very first inspection on a breeder's licence, we have to take a veterinarian with us to ensure that the public, when they buy a puppy, they buy a healthy puppy, a puppy that's been vaccinated, a puppy that's been treated for worms, it's been microchipped, it's had good socialisation. Anybody buying from a licensed breeder would know they've gone through stringent checks.
It's really important to know where your puppies come from, that you've done everything correctly. I'm very proud of the qualification that I have. For each breed of dog there are specific health requirements. They're weighed every day, you're watched to see how the development is, and their eyes are tested yearly. I know that a prospective new puppy owner will have the confidence when they take that puppy at 8 weeks that it has, had all the love and care that it needs. It's had its worming, the mum has been wormed, and that they're kept in a safe, warm environment where they'll be nurtured and at each stage monitored closely so they develop in the best way.
Any licensee for breeding activities or boarding or pet shops have to display their licence number, so always check when any adverts you see that there's a licence number. You can always call us or look on our website to see if they are actually licensed.
If you start with the right input, the right checks, you're going to get what you're looking for.
Well, thank you to Jill and Michelle and colleagues for sharing those issues with us. And the thing that really shocked me was the size of the problem. Just looking at the number of dogs that were actually advertised on just one social media website, well over £1 million worth. Now, as a dog owner myself, I know when we acquired our latest 2 dogs, which is approaching 5 years now, the breeder made us jump through so many hoops. They wanted photos of our gardens, they wanted photos of the house, they wanted to know what previous dog experience we had. They wanted to see us with the puppies to see how we interacted with them, and actually it was a bit like an interview for a job, and it wasn't until we'd gone through lots of hoops and then signed a formal contract with them that they agreed to supply us with the dogs. And that's the sort of thing that proper dog breeders do, and as you said, they should have a license number which you can check on the Dorset Council website, and don't be frightened to check up on people and to contact Dorset Council to ask if you're not sure. Now, if you enjoy soaking up the sun on a trip to Weymouth Beach, listen out to this next little bit because you've got the opportunity to enter a competition being run by the Town Council to be in with a chance of winning a week's free deck chair hire. With the new season gearing up, it's hopefully going to be a fantastic year in sunny Weymouth, and the Town Council are offering all those who attend the Weymouth Community Expo event on Saturday the 23rd of April the chance to win a free deck chair hire for a week. All you have to do is go along to that event between 12 and 2:30 on the 23rd of April and enter the competition. And the winning entry will be announced after the event closes. The Weymouth Community Expo, which we mentioned, I think it was last week or the week before, is a twist on the annual town meeting highlighting voluntary and community groups, and it also provides an opportunity to find out more about Weymouth Town Council and its services. Also, local community sports and hobby groups will be there, and it's a wonderful opportunity to find out more about what's going on in the community and town you live in. Now we're going to hear from Will, who is the resort manager for Weymouth Town Council, about the competition.
Hi, I'm Will, resort manager at Weymouth Town Council. Did you know you can win a week's free deck chair hire if you come along to the Weymouth Community Expo on Saturday the 23rd of April? Just tell us how many deck chairs you think we hired out on the beach last year. To be in with a chance of winning this prize, I'll give you a clue. It was higher than 3,000 and lower than 40,000. Join us at Redlands Community Sports Hub anytime between 12 PM and 2:30 PM on the 23rd to enter. See you there and good luck.
So there we go, thank you, Will. And those numbers to remember, as it's between 3,000 and 40,000, quite a wide range, but at least if you stick with those in those numbers, you do stand a chance. So thank you very much for that. Now it's the time in the programme where we go over to the Met Office for the national weather forecast, and this week it's delivered by Greg Dewhurst.
Hello there, welcome to your latest broadcast from the Met Office. Well, we've had sunshine and showers and fairly chilly conditions over the last few days across the UK. We will see subtle changes into this weekend. High pressure begins to move in, but notice still quite chilly. However, as we go into next week, warmer air starts to move in from the south, courtesy of low pressure though moving in slowly from the west, so it will turn warmer, but also the risk of some heavier rain in the west in particular as well. Through Saturday evening and then overnight, we'll see any cloud and showers fading away for the vast majority of the UK. This will allow temperatures to tumble quite quickly, a widespread frost forming. A few showers still pushing in across parts of Scotland, most frequent across the north towards Orkney and Shetland as well, again on the wintry side at times. And overall, temperatures in towns and cities falling close to freezing, perhaps more widely close to freezing for many. And in the countryside, -2, -4 is possible almost anywhere across the whole of the UK. So another frosty start on Sunday morning, but plenty of sunshine to greet us once more. That frost quickly melting away, and then we're looking at a fine day for many, light winds for all. Still some showers across the far northeast of the UK, but later on in the day we'll see some thicker cloud moving into the west, so the sunshine turning hazy here. Perhaps a few spells of rain pushing into Northern Ireland by the end of the day here. But overall, a fine day to come. And winds starting to change direction. Southerly winds being introduced into the far west. So here, temperatures rising 12, 13, 14 Celsius is possible, but still chilly across the northeast here, particularly Orkney, Shetland there, struggling at 4 or 5 Celsius. Now the outlook into next week is for it to turn warmer from the south. We will see some gusty winds at times developing and some heavy rain too. And for more information on this, you can follow us on our social media channels. I'll see you again soon.
Thank you very much, Greg, for the national weather forecast. And looking at the local weather, you can see it basically follows what Greg's just told us in the national picture, which is it is going to get warmer during this week. But there is the chance of rain as it gets warmer and gusty winds on some days, but generally milder. Certainly today has been quite nice. Certainly parts of today the sun's been out and it's been sort of a good day for drying, washing and that sort of stuff. So let's hope that that continues in the week ahead. Now we're on to the traffic and travel. Now this is something certainly worth listening to if you live in White Regis or you live in Portland, because there are some major disruptions coming up this week. So most significantly, there's going to be nighttime complete closure of part of Portland Road between Ford's Corner and Dumbarton Road on the 11th and 12th. That's Monday and Tuesday. The road will be completely shut between midnight and 6 AM with a diversion in place through Rylands Lane, Doncaster Road and Derwent Road. Then what's going to happen is there's going to be staged closures going further on through the Portland Road and onto the Portland Beach Road. So on the 13th of April, the plan is that there will be a closure, or there will be restricted traffic with traffic lights from 9 PM to 6 AM from the junction with Dumbarton Road to Ferry Bridge. Then on the 14th of April, again the same, 9 PM to 6 AM, there'll be traffic lights in operation between Ferry Bridge and Billy Winters. And then as the week goes on, other sections across the Portland Beach Road will close. And the works will continue overnight right into the Easter weekend. So if you're travelling to Portland, I suggest you get home before 9 o'clock if you don't want to be delayed. Because I imagine those traffic lights, although they will be allowing traffic through, they are trying to do significant road works overnight, so you could be waiting some time to get through those traffic lights at night. Now other roadworks coming up this week, there are roadworks with traffic control in Radipole Lane, and other roadworks with no plan to have traffic control in place, and where disruption should be minimal in the following areas: Lanehouse Rocks Road, Viscount Road or Viscount Road, Emerson Road, Bowling Crescent, Buxton Road, Sudan Road, Chelmsford Street, Grove Avenue, Beaumont Avenue and Grays at Southhill. So a really busy week there on the roads. On the trains though, the picture is much better, really good with Easter coming up and people travelling maybe for a holiday or to visit family and friends. And the only notifications for this weekend and the week ahead is a bus replacement service between Bournemouth, Poole and Wareham over this weekend. Just this weekend, Saturday, Sunday, and then nothing pre-notified for the week ahead. Now moving to what's on, lots coming up on what's on. Obviously Easter break upon us now. Weymouth Pavilion, 13th of April to 16th of April this week. Wow presents Greece. That's the Weymouth Operatic Workshop presenting Greece. 17th of April, the Dinosaur Adventure. This looks really interesting, and I think it's going to be digital stuff and moving animatronics and all sorts of things. It sounds really interesting. 21st of April, the Shires. 22nd of April, the Wizard of Oz Easter Pantomime, starring Bobby Davro. Bobby's been somebody who's visited Weymouth on many occasions for pantomime and shows and what have you. Excuse me. 23rd of April, One Night of Elvis. 24th of April, Sunday Night Comedy with Maisie Adams. 28th of April, Go Now, the music of the Moody Blues. And on the 1st of May, Coldplay, who are the world's leading Coldplay tribute band. If you're interested in any of those, pop along to the Weymouth Pavilion website at weymouthpavilion.com or give the box office a call on 01305 783 225. Now, Knowth Fort, we mentioned the Knowth Fort in the headlines. They're well into their Easter egg hunts and Easter activities. They're running right the way through to the 16th of April, so do have a look on their website. They've also got Dorset Arts Week coming up in May and the Queen's Platinum Jubilee celebrations. They'll be very busy there at the beginning of June. Also this weekend at Athelhampton House. Come and immerse yourself in the sights, sounds and smells of Tudor England. It's the middle of Lent and meat, dairy and eggs are forbidden to almost all Tudors. So come and try the food and meet Tudor people from all walks of life, from gentlefolk to servants, and discover strange old customs. Try music and dance, play games, investigate clothes, and have a go at writing with a quill. That sounds really exciting. So that's Athelhampton House there, all this weekend. Sunday the 10th of April, that's tomorrow. They're at the Frontline Cafe, Victoria Park, Lorette Road on Portland. Is the first car show of the season for Weymouth and Portland, not to be missed. Ace Detailing brings you some of the world's best cars, including an Audi R8, a Mercedes AMG GT, a McLaren 650, and Dorset Police's Lotus Evora, and lots of American muscle with a Corvette Stingray and plenty of Mustangs and many more. That's 1 o'clock at the Frontline Cafe, Victoria Park, Lorette Road, Portland. If you are into your cars, tomorrow, Sunday the 10th of April at 1 o'clock. And don't forget, I say this every week, do let us know what you have planned for the Queen's Platinum Jubilee. We're getting closer each week. I know Janet mentioned in her piece that plans are afoot in White Regis, and I can tell you that they do include a children's treasure hunt. They do include the lighting of a beacon at 9:45 in the evening. They do include a big barbecue, and the Tower of All Saints Church open for people to go up and to see the fantastic view. Not many people get the chance to go up the tower these days, but you will be able to book a slot if you want to, and take your camera up if you're fit and well, because it's quite a steep old climb up there, and take some photos and take in the view. But more details about that nearer the time. Now, this week we do have a film review for you, and it sounds a very interesting and I think slightly funny film. I'm not sure it's supposed to be funny, but certainly the trailer looks to be interesting and funny. And it's called The Duke, and it's from Warner Brothers and Pathé. It stars Jim Broadbent and Helen Mirren. It has been in cinemas, but it's now going to be released on video on demand, pay-for video at services this week. And it's described as a priceless true story. The Duke is the true story of Kempton Bunton. Yeah, that's a good start. A bit of a funny name there. Kempton Bunton, a 60-year-old taxi driver who stole Goya's portrait of the Duke of Wellington from the National Gallery in London. It was the first, and it does actually remain the only theft in the gallery's history. Kempton sent ransom notes saying that he would return the painting on condition that the government invested more in care for the elderly. He had long campaign for pensioners to receive free television. What happened next became the stuff of legend. Only 50 years later did the full story emerge. Kempton had spun a web of lies. The only truth was that he was a good man determined to change the world and save his marriage. How and why he used the Duke to achieve this is a wonderfully uplifting tale. Now, certainly if you've got some time over Easter and you can afford to download from something like Netflix or wherever it's going to be on demand, this is a really good story, and it is a true story. So here we go. Here's the trailer coming up for The Duke, starring Jim Broadbent and Helen Mirren.
Will the defendant please stand? Kempton Bunton, you were charged that on the 21st of March 1961, you stole from the National Gallery a priceless portrait of the Duke of Wellington by Francisco José de Goya.
Not very good, is it?
We're convinced that the Goya has been stolen by a highly professional, international criminal gang.
Mind your boomers!
Almost certainly a trained commando.
You all right? Bit of biscuit. One problem.
What's that?
Your mother. I can explain.
I'm shaken.
It's the shock.
Shock, yes, I'm shocked. There's a stolen masterpiece in my wardrobe.
What's he actually asking for? £140,000. For what? Charity.
Good grief.
I'm living with a madman.
I'm tackling social injustice. I'm like Robin Hood.
You're an idiot.
The taxpayer paid for that bin. They could have given thousands to war widows and pensioners. It's for the greater good of mankind.
Mankind? What about your own kind? How long will you get?
I don't know. 10 years.
You could have told me. We could have dealt with it together.
You married young.
I had to marry.
I had to marry.
It was love.
He is not a thief. He borrowed your Goya to do a bit of good in this world. You campaign for pensioners and war veterans.
Every time someone gets cut off from the rest of us, this country becomes a foot shorter. All my life I've looked out for other people and got into trouble for it. But I had faith. Not in God, but in people.
How do you plead?
Not guilty.
Yes! For those unfamiliar with court proceedings, that was the plea, not the verdict.
There we go. That's The Duke. The true story of Kempton Bunton, who stole a painting in a sort of a modern-day Robin Hood, trying to get the government to give more money to pensioners. Looks to be good fun, that one, and something to watch at home over Easter if you're looking for something to sit down and watch as a family. And Jim Broadbent and Helen Mirren are really good actors, and looking at the trailer, Jim does an absolutely fantastic job of playing the part of Kempton. Now we're at the end of yet another weekly news programme. It goes so quickly, but we will be back here next week at 6 o'clock. Just a reminder that services tomorrow at All Saints Church at 8 o'clock and at 9:30. And 9:30 will be live streamed, and it is the Palm Sunday service, and 11 o'clock at St Edmund's Church. Tonight, in a short while, will be our Saturday night quiz. Again, I will be back live with you this week. Last week was a recorded quiz because we had a live quiz in White Regis in the Memorial Hall that I was doing. So I was in two places at the same time, live in the hall and pre-record online. But tonight I will be live, I promise. And also to remind you that the April edition of A Year in Gardening with Clive Gray went out for the first time on Friday night at 7, and it is repeated Sunday at 4 p.m. And if you've missed either of those broadcasts, it is available, of course, on YouTube and Facebook to download and watch at any time. Now, do send in any of your news or events to us during the week at news@whiteregis.tv. And other than that, have a good week. Enjoy the Easter holidays if you're having a break, certainly for the younger members who are having a break from school, and if you're doing family things. And I look forward to being with you next Saturday at 6 p.m. Have a good week, and I'll see you soon. Good night.